I'm your host, Donna Cates, and each week we'll dive into powerful stories, expert strategies, and practical tools to help you take charge of your financial future. Whether you're planning for retirement, navigating a divorce, or simply looking to build your wealth with confidence, this is your space to grow, learn, and thrive. Let's get started with today's podcast. Alicia King, who is director at RSM. And Alicia, I'm really eager to delve deep into your career journey now and starting with telling us what RSM is. Can you give us a 90-second overview of what it is that you do and why you got into it?
Yeah, so RSM is the largest mid-market accounting and tax firm in the United States. And so RSM actually has a division for Microsoft, and I'm a director of technology in their Microsoft division at RSM.
Cool, super cool. So working with a really huge business, and you're tell me a little bit more because I think you've got a special VIP designation or something as a Microsoft blogger. Is that
Yeah,
right?
so it's super cool. So Microsoft has this really cool kind of elite group you can become a part of. It's called a Microsoft MVP. It stands for Most Valuable Professional. And to become a Microsoft MVP, you either have to be nominated by someone at Microsoft or another MVP. And it's a pretty elite group. I'm the sixth woman in the United States currently that has a Microsoft MVP title for Microsoft Dynamics D365 Finance and Supply Chain. And you become a Microsoft MVP because of your blogging and the way you give back to the community. So in many ways, Microsoft's pretty clever because you become an evangelist for Microsoft in many ways.
Mhm.
And but it's super exciting because you get to share your knowledge with other people and you really get to raise the tide. It's one of those things of like you give back through all the years that you've worked and all the stuff I've read research on and different things. And now I have the opportunity to give back to that community. So it's a real honor.
Well, tell us a little bit more about specifically the work that you're doing.
So at RSM, as a director of technology for Microsoft, we go in. My team would actually go into a manufacturing company or a life science company. Right now, I'm specializing in life sciences. I've done a lot of stuff in industrials and things. And the company would come to RSM and say, "Hey, we're looking to swap out our software system, whether it be their Microsoft platform or their ERP system." So ERP is enterprise routing and planning. That's the whole business side of any company. So it's inventory, costing, finance, purchasing, sales orders. It's the whole everything it takes to run a business. So many times I like to think of it as it's the heart of the business. So it's that core software that really allows your business to run. And so what our team would do once they've actually purchased the Microsoft software, we would go in, we would do a business assessment to figure out how we can use Microsoft and the tool to actually help their business run more effectively and ultimately to serve their clients better.
Oh wow. And you just blew my mind with all the things that I don't know, right? So that I guess that's why we all are we're in our own lane with our area of expertise. So you just made my head hurt. But tell me a little bit about what the biggest problem is that you see in your industry right now, and what are you doing to solve that?
I'm so glad you asked that question because it's one of my deep whys, why I do what I do. Even today, women are so underrepresented in technology. And one of the things to know about RSM, it's a fantastic company. It's a big company. They really encourage minorities and women and disabilities and different types of people groups to excel within the organization. But just to kind of give you an idea, about a month ago, I was on a leadership call. There were 103 people on the call, and there were only 15 women.
Mm, sounds like my world.
Right? So you sit
Hmm.
there, and again, it's not because anyone's made this conscious choice to say, hey, we're going to have fewer women than men, but subconsciously these things happen. Well, what I found in life, kind of in general, most people are followers, not leaders. Goal, and even being a Microsoft MVP, to me, it's not about being Microsoft. It's not about my desire to be partner at RSM. It's about being able to be that leader so that other people can follow. Because I want people to look at me and say, hey, if Alicia can do it, I can do it too. Because I think there's so much power in that. Because I'm not any different than any other woman. I don't think that I've been blessed with some extraordinary gift. I just think that I'm taking the opportunities that I have and I'm maximizing those. And so really that's really my deep why. I have twin girls that will be 19 soon. And largely what I do is to see the world through their eyes so that they can have a better future, so that the other women that are behind me can have a better future. Because what I do matters, what you do matters. Because again, people are going to look at you and say, hey, Donna did it, I can do it too. So that's really the message in my why and why I'm so heavily leadership.
And I tell you what inspires me about what you've just said is your number one. Yes, most of us aren't leaders. Most of us are followers. So having somebody that wants to take the bull by the horn and kind of pave the way, that's a blessing for all of the people that don't want to do that, right? To have somebody like you to follow. So I applaud you for that. And then I love the fact that you're focusing specifically on empowering women and setting that example for your twins. That's huge.
One of the other things that I have the privilege of doing is my blogs reach people in over 155 countries. So it's not just that my footprint is isolated to the US or isolated to my locally where I'm at. I have the privilege of influencing men and women globally, right? And it's because of this platform that I get to stand on called Microsoft MVP. And for me, that is the gift and that is the privilege. And for me, I don't take that lightly. For me, that's a huge responsibility. And so being able to be that role model or show people that you can do it messy, but do it anyway. Because I think a lot of people really struggle with that. Because even like I'll talk to other people, I'm like, oh, you should be blogging. I'm like, you have so much to give the world. Why don't you blog? And they're like, yeah, but I just can't get it right. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Do it anyway. Right. So lots of times when I'm doing my blogs or I'm doing my videos, I do one take. I don't sit there and try to make it perfect because I'm like, I'm human. If I said a word wrong, I said a word wrong. They still got the message, right? But what I found is so many people resonate with humanity.
And you're talking to a perfectionist or a recovering perfectionist, because I figured out I have to let that go. I still struggle with it, but yeah. So I think I love it. Just do it and do it anyway. It is what it is. Yeah. That's awesome. So tell me where you see the industry going in the next 5 to 10 years, and how are you staying on top of it?
Microsoft is running at 100 miles an hour. You see it everywhere. Copilot, which is Microsoft's version of AI. They call it Copilot. Okay. I mean, now it's showing up in Word, Excel, Outlook, obviously the Microsoft ERP products, Microsoft Dynamics D365, Finance Supply Chain, which is what I do. So it's everywhere. And technology is a tool. And I think a lot of people are afraid of sometimes of where the things are going. But if you think back, go back to the days of Henry Ford. Right, let's go back to 1920. Don't you think the people that did horse and buggies were afraid?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Think about when big, heavy machinery like backhoes came out. Don't you think people are going, oh my goodness, I dig holes for a living. Where am I going to get work? So it's not the fact that the jobs are going to go away, it's that they're going to change. And so I think a lot of people have this sense of fear around technology because they're looking at the current world through their current lens. We're going to have jobs next year, 5 years, 10 years from now that we didn't even dream about. So it's not that people aren't going to have jobs. They're going to have different kinds of jobs. So for me, it's really exciting to kind of be on the forefront of that and kind of be in the Microsoft world and kind of see where things are going. And also the beautiful thing is knowledge without interpretation is just data. It's not, it doesn't add any value. So I think that's one of the nice things about, there were always, even though AI is smart and it's learning and those kinds of things, it can't replace the human element. The only time you should be afraid of AI is if you think you're a robot. If I think I'm a robot and my job is repetitious enough to be replaced by a robot, I probably should, okay, that may be a replacement for AI or a robot. But humans connect. Humans are bringing creativity, right? Humans have the ability to create the futures. A beaver doesn't wake up and say, I'm going to create the future. A beaver is going to beaver, right? A giraffe is going to giraffe, right? But what do humans do? We dream. Humans create the future. Right now, you're living in your dream. You dreamt of where you're going to be today before you got there. I'm living in my dream right now. Like I dreamed of becoming a Microsoft MVP. I'm living in my dream today. So that's the beauty of being human, is that we can create our dreams and then we create our futures. So technology is going fast, but we'll always need humans, and humans are the ones that are going to actually create that future.
You are speaking my language here, because everything that you're saying about dreaming, we're creating, we're evolving,
Yeah.
we're doing, it's exactly the conversation I have with women about their money.
Yes.
Right. So that's so empowering. I appreciate that. So share with us today, what is the biggest challenge that you might have faced to date, whether it's personal or professional, and how has that shaped the way that you're doing business?
Early on in my career, I was so wrapped up in the destination that I forgot to enjoy the journey. And as I've gotten older and as I've gotten wiser and as I've gotten through, as you kind of go through life, it's one of those things that I've learned that, Alicia, today is a day to enjoy. Learn to enjoy the journey, because that's most of life. Most of life is the journey. And I think as far as like challenges and stuff like that go, is lots of times being in certain circles, like being a woman in manufacturing, because I did manufacturing consulting for years and years and years. And it was the good old boys, right? You go in there and I had to work twice as hard. But because I had to work twice as hard, I was also twice as successful. So I think life can either make you bitter or it can make you better, and you can either feel buried or you can feel planted. And so as I've gone through life, I've truly tried to feel like that it's making me better, and that I've been planted, and now I'm just blooming. So I think that that's kind of the message that I would want to give people today. If you're in a dark place or you feel like you really don't know where you're at or where you're going, just take evaluation. Say, have I been buried or have I been planted? It's dark either way, right? But if you've been planted, you're going to bloom into a beautiful flower. But you can only bloom if you're willing to do that inside work. It's the inside work. It's not outside of you, it's inside of you. And once you do that inside work, you're only going to bloom and you're absolutely unstoppable.
That's a podcast right there in and of itself. Or you got to do a blog, right? I mean, that just what you were speaking. Perfect. Perfect. I'm going to shift gears and ask, if you could have lunch with any person, living or deceased, who would that be and why?
It's funny that you say that, because I think it would be Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
And you know why I think Dolly Parton? Is because of her journey. You think she came from a very poor background. I grew up poor. I grew up in a trailer park, and neither one of my parents went to college. And if someone had looked at my life, even like when I was in high school, I was graduating from high school, and people said, oh, she's going to grow up and be a beautician, a hairstylist. Not that there's anything with being a hairstylist, right? But no one would have thought that I would be probably in the 1% from an income state position of anybody I went to school with. I mean, like, I am at the top financially and from a career perspective. But it's one of those things, and I think that's what kind of helps me resonate with like Dolly Parton, is she had a passion and she went for it. In fact, somebody encouraged me. I was listening to something, they said, you should go ahead and write your eulogy, because it'll help you project what your life should be, because you're looking back, right? So you're saying, okay, when I die, what I want people to say about it. And one of the things that I wrote down, which is, by the way, it's a great exercise to do, very sobering. But one of the things that I wrote in there is, I was like, I want to dream big dreams. And I want my girls to see that I'm dreaming big dreams. And then I did it. I just didn't think about it. I just didn't want to hope to do it. I did it. And I think for me, Dolly Parton has that story, right? She grew up poor. She went through all these trials. I can only imagine socially how she was ostracized in certain circles, but she just did it anyway. right? And here she is, this icon, all these years later, because she had the internal structure, the internal strength to go for her dreams and do it.
And she's still doing
I
it
know,
every
don't you love
single
it?
day,
I
right?
know, isn't it
That's
great?
awesome.
I think it's so inspiring.
And well, and I'm gonna put some positive energy out there that you actually get to sit down and have lunch with her because that would be
I love that.
fabulous. Oh my goodness. Well, tell me if people are interested in learning more about you, learning how to work with you, or just to follow your blogs and such, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube and it's Alicia, ALICIA MVP for most valuable professional. And my blog's the
Mhm.
same. So it's aliciamvp.com. And so if you're in the
Okay.
Microsoft world or you're thinking about Microsoft, or if you just want to follow me as a woman leader, please reach out. I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on I have my, so LinkedIn, YouTube, and my website.
Okay, awesome. Well, you ladies, if you haven't been inspired by today's conversation, I'll say you need to figure out whether you're planted or buried. So let's kind of regroup so we can all blossom using Alicia's words. Thank you for being such a great guest today, Alicia.
Thank you for having me. It's been a privilege being here.
Yeah, you're welcome. I love it. Thanks. I hope today's conversation left you feeling inspired, informed, and ready to take the next step in your financial journey. Remember, building wealth isn't just about money, it's also about creating a life that aligns with your goals and values. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with the women in your life who deserve financial empowerment too. Until next time, stay confident, stay empowered, and keep building the life you desire.